Oh, I wish you didn't have to talk to me the next hour, but hey, here we are.
All right, so you want to get
Okay.
started now?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
five, four, three, two, one. We are live. Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Yeah, welcome back, and we're gonna talk about some fucking great shit, stupid shit, and fucking just downright fucking abysmal shit. Like honestly, that's the best way to fucking describe all three of the topics I want to cover tonight because, well, and I guess the third one, the abysmal shit, is also quite hilarious because, well, libertarians. Um,
Yes.
the living embodiment of comedy and humor in the world. Um,
I thought those were called meat shields.
what are you, a European conscripting Arabs? Oh wait, no, it's Pakis. It's Pakis that moved to Europe. That's right. Anyways,
Uh-huh.
so uh, first topic to cover: Ukraine and possible peace deal, and things are looking good. So where are you guys at on this? What do you guys know? What do
So,
you not know?
yeah, so
I keep hearing bits and pieces change, and that the Europeans tried to, well, they tried to sabotage it a couple times, but one of the ones that really blew my mind when I heard, and then I thought about it and went, "Oh no, that makes perfect sense," is that the part about having the Austrian artist permanently no-goed in Ukraine, they tried to take out.
interesting. Another interesting thing I heard is from that original 28-point plan. One of the points was basically mass amnesty for everyone involved in the war. Apparently, that was actually the Ukrainians changed that in the leaked draft from the original. The original point there was an audit of where all the money went to Ukraine, and they changed that to just amnesty. No one gets punished for any of the money laundering they might have been doing.
Color me surprised.
Yep.
Oh, I wonder why they did that.
All right, I found it.
No, okay, cool.
I'll just
Can you
post it.
copy it in the side chat real quick?
Yeah, I'll post it in the side chat. Here you go.
It was an interesting list. I don't see any of it happening. Well, no, I see a lot of it happening, but not in the way they're trying to sell it.
Well, okay, so I'm just gonna go down this real quick, and we're gonna go point by point. Ukraine sovereignty will be confirmed. Okay, that's a no-brainer, simply from the perspective of there's a huge, Ruthenian population in Ukraine that the Russians don't want anything to fucking deal with. Like, it's just like with the Poles. The Russians learned that, hey, dealing with Poles is fucking insufferable because they're non-productive as fuck. Like, the Poles were one of the least productive portions of the empire going back to the imperial era. So, honestly speaking, the modern Russia, the Ruthenians would be just as unproductive. So, honestly speaking, maintaining a buffer state would be a better investment than to actually try to absorb the bitch.
Yeah, how's that go? Stalin tried to kill both of them off, and they were too stubborn to die and too useless to save.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. That describes the situation almost to a T. Any comments there?
Sounds about right.
A full comprehensive non-aggression agreement will be concluded between Russia, Ukraine, and Europe. All ambiguities of the past 30 years will be considered resolved. So, at the end of the fucking day, this point right here literally acknowledges this is Europe's war. This is Europe's problem, not the US's. There's no ambiguities between the U.S. and Russia. There's no true hostility between U.S. and Russia. So we need to solve the European problem when it comes to Russia. And at the end of the fucking day, what are the problems? Well, you've got multiple countries, i.e. the British, the French, and the Germans, who all have an axe to grind with the Russians in some form or fashion. Some axes are much, much older, like the Brits, and some are much, much newer, like the Germans. The French, kind of in the middle. A lot of people tend to forget and also ignore Russia's contribution to the Third Coalition. I don't know why, but it is what it is. That point right there, I think, would have really pissed off the Europeans by being like, no, we're going to make you, like, as the U.S., we're going to make you actually abide by a non-aggression agreement. It is expected that Russia will not invade neighboring country. Actually, wait, what does this seem? Oh, it's translation.
Yeah.
Okay, I just scrolled down to look at the document. I'm like, what the fuck? It is expected that Russia will not invade neighboring countries and that NATO will not expand further. Honestly speaking, this is one of the core issues with the reason why the Russians are willing to go to war, because at the end of the day, war is politics by any other means. And at the end of the day, NATO expansion is one of the biggest fucking issues because, and the more we've learned over the past year, especially, but, over the course of the entire conflict, we have seen that NATO is the military arm of the BIS, the Bank of International Settlement, and the ECB. So it's literally a case of you have the ECB and the BIS coordinating financial policy. And what have I said previously, ladies and gentlemen?
ECB, European Central Bank?
Yes, European Central Bank.
Okay.
Kinetic warfare is the end state of financial warfare. So, it's been proven at this point in time that NATO is literally just the enforcer arm of the BIS and the ECB. And so NATO expanding to encompass even more populations ripe for the conscription, it's going to be a fucking issue. And, Russia will not invade neighboring countries. Like, that was it's a facto already. Like, the Russians don't want any territories outside of the areas that they've already claimed at this point, because there's no reason to. Like, they love having the Belarusians as independent, for example, because it separates them from the Baltic states for the most part. Like, why would they want to share a border with those assholes? So, at the end of the day, like, the more borders that, Russia can put between themselves and NATO in general, it's a good buy for Russia. A dialogue will be conducted between Russia and NATO and mediated by the United States to resolve all security issues and create conditions for de-escalation, thereby ensuring global security and increasing opportunities for cooperation and future economic development. I'm going to be completely fucking frank. This point is kind of useless if the U.S. doesn't fight the shadow war. We have a situation where we need to trounce and dismantle the current credit market, the current overall financial market. We need to actually fix the problems on our side of the fence before the Russians can even be like, oh yeah, we're going to, cooperate with NATO, quote unquote. So, Ukraine will receive reliable security guarantees. Well, at the end of the day, Ukraine had that option and then they got booped. So, oh well. But, honestly speaking, the security guarantees just need to be, okay, if NATO comes in, Russia launches. If Russia comes in, NATO launches. Like, that needs to be the security guarantee. That's it. The size of the armed forces of Ukraine will be limited to 600,000 personnel. Yeah, that sounds about right given their population. But at the same time, I don't see that number truly holding up because, again, the Ukrainians will just continue doing what they're doing anyways. They'll have a bunch of armed militias. They followed. It's hilarious. They followed the German example very well in that regard.
Germany had a bunch of armed militias.
Yeah, well, that's how SS and the SA and then the SS.
Yeah, well, that's how they got around Versailles. They're called MIFO bills. I forget what it stands for, but they're called MIFO bills. And what the MIFO bills would allow them to do is that they would take money, give the money to these armed groups so that they could equip and train themselves. And then those armed groups, the expectation is, hey, as being a recipient of one of these bills, you're obligated to fight in the defense of Germany. And that's how they got around the limitation of 100,000 men. And so at one point in time, they probably had, if I remember the numbers, it was around 600,000 to 700,000 all total that they had under arms at any given time.
Good.
Yeah, it was a lot. So that's what Ukraine's going to end up doing with that is they're going to have way more than 600,000 because they're going to have those private militias, and they're going to be incredibly clandestine about it. Absolutely. So,
well, Europe is home of the PMC, so.
Well, absolutely. I've actually talked to a buddy of mine that does security contracting sometimes in Europe, and he is convinced at this point in time that a lot of these companies are going to open up offices in Ukraine and recruit basically a private military force in Ukraine, similar to, I hate to use a video game example, but, fuck it. Have you guys heard of Escape from Tarkov?
Yes.
Can't stand it.
Yeah. USEC. Basically create USEC. And it's like, oh, shit. Okay, well, if they do that, that's going to be pretty fucking wild. We'll see. Ukraine agrees to enshrine in its constitution that it will not join NATO, and that NATO agrees to include in its statutes a provision that will not accept Ukraine in the future. That right there is a big win for the Russians. So up to this point, it's very middling across the board. It's actually a very amicable peace overall. And then you get to this point, and this is the big win for Russia, because this enshrines that that's going to be a border country no matter what. Like, there's going to be a buffer state, period, end of story. There's no putting NATO right on the doorstep of Russia at that point in time. So they're going to try to find some way to be hinky with it, but if it does get included in the statutes for NATO, then at that point in time, it's a done deal. NATO, the Europeans will never be able to legally ease their way through it. So,
very.
Go ahead.
Were you talking to me or?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just saying that would be a very good thing, because that's the most dangerous part that needs to be dealt with.
Oh, absolutely. NATO agrees not to deploy troops in Ukraine. Well, the Europeans are already defying that, by the way. They are, Macron is apparently trying to put together a expeditionary force to put into Ukraine. And what they're calling it is a coalition, because it's not going to be NATO, it's going to be a coalition. And it's all the NATO countries that are putting forces together for this, if they actually do it. So it's like, it's NATO, but it's not NATO. Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's NATO. Like, no, fuck yourself. So I don't believe for even a second that they are, that they're going to allow that, period in the story. Like, the Europeans are going to fuck around, and the Russians are going to be like, okay, fuck it, find out, bitch.
Yeah, they're not going to play funsy with that.
European fighter aircraft will be stationed in Poland. I don't know. I don't know the intent of that point, because it's like, well, are we talking about like NATO putting aircraft in Poland, because they already do put aircraft in Poland?
Yeah, I read that and I was like, what does that even mean? It's like
we
already do. I mean, there already is from just about every major country.
Well, so what I took that is, and again, it's confusing, so it's up for speculation on that. But what I think that actually means is that they're basically planning on putting a Ramstein in Poland and basically having 1,000 fighter or 1,000 complement fucking air fleet in Poland. Which then at that point in time, it's like, okay, cool, good luck, have fun. You're going to be running the gauntlet when it comes to the fucking air defense. So good luck, with that one.
What do you mean by a Ramstein? I only know that term in the context of the band.
U.S. German military base.
Yeah, Ramstein Air Force Base. It's the largest Air Force base. Well, actually, I don't know if it's still the largest. The one in Qatar might actually be bigger. I'm not 100% sure, but the Ramstein can comfortably station about 1,200 aircraft, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's a very large base. Actually, my grandfather was stationed there for a short time before being transferred to the East German border. Yeah, my grandfather, just give you a hint of Billy Badass over here. He was issued Davy Crockett's. Yeah.
No wonder you're so messed up.
Oh, dude, the balls of steel are real. Radioactive balls of steel.
Yeah.
So then we get to point 10, U.S. guarantees. The United States will receive compensation for the guarantee. If Ukraine invades Russia, it will lose the guarantee. If Russia invades Ukraine, in addition to the decisive coordinated military response, all global sanctions will be reinstated. Recognition of new territories and all the benefits of this deal will be revoked. If Ukraine, without cause, launches a missile at Moscow or St. Petersburg, the security guarantee will be considered invalid. So basically what this security guarantee is, and this is actually a pretty good overall, guarantee. It's like, okay, as long as you both don't do some stupid shit, everything's cool. But the fact that it specifically angles against Ukraine is actually a big deal, because it shows that, no, Ukraine, you've been doing some hinky shit, and we're going to make sure that you don't do some hinky shit, because if you do, we're wiping our hands of it, and we're letting the Russians have it. So
the first one that gets froggy gets dog piled on.
Yeah. Ukraine retains the right to EU membership and will receive short-term preferential access to the European market while the issue is under consideration. Russia has already said on multiple occasions they don't care if Ukraine joins the EU. At the end of the fucking day, if Ukraine joins the EU, they're just killing themselves. So fuck it, whatever. Like, it's hilarious to me that people still, like, they look at the euro dollar market, and they think that the EU is still strong. And it's like, you're retarded.
Yeah, if you think the U.S. dollar has got problems, oh boy.
Yeah, seriously. A powerful global package of measures for reconstruction of Ukraine, including but not limited to creation of a Ukraine development fund to invest in high growth sectors, including technology, data processing centers, and artificial intelligence. This annoys me, because it's like, I'm sorry, but this is literally BlackRock right here. First off, the Ukraine Development Fund, that was first proposed by BlackRock to the Europeans and whatnot, and all that bullshit a couple years ago. And
yeah, big finance, World Bank. That's anybody trying to get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, and what that comes down to is like, oh, hey, You know, all these cities are fucking wrecked. People are gonna move. Like basically, the whole idea of a Ukrainian village died in this war, because now it's gonna be like, okay, hey, we're gonna take all this land that is now unused because all the people fucking left and they're not coming back. We're gonna take all this land and we're gonna turn it into fucking tech centers and shit like that. It's like, okay, cool. Problem, you know, AI is already a massive bubble anyways, and if God forbid it fucking pops, because it's going to be a fucking huge money sink that everybody's going to freak out about. Now, to be frank, if we manage to get the gold back tips in place, it's not going to be that big of a pop. But in the case of Ukraine, it's not going to help Ukraine that much. Like they need actual infrastructure development. They need actual economic development that includes hard resources, soft resources, fucking agriculture, et cetera, et cetera. Like it does not make sense to me to even come close to considering tech centers and shit like that. It's just like, no. The United States will cooperate with Ukraine on joint reconstruction, development, modernization, and operation of Ukraine's gas infrastructure, including pipelines and storage facilities. Now, the reason why this is an important one is because those pipelines were joint ventures, technically speaking, between Russia and Ukraine. But if the U.S. takes over those pipelines, Russian gas and oil can flow through those pipelines without any problem whatsoever, because even if the EU maintains a sanction on Russia, because the U.S. owns the rights to the pipeline, it's a nothing burger that they can do with. So this was a similar consideration, and per my understanding, the talks are underway for it, where the U.S. buys Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2, rebuilds Nord Stream 2, and then operates Nord Stream 2 for the Russians. At that point in time, any sanctions that the EU puts on Russia are moot at that point in time. So,
well, now that would be interesting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a nice workaround to prevent the EU from getting stupid. Joint efforts to restore war-affected territories, including the reconstruction and modernization of cities and residential areas. Of course, at this point in time, we're looking at, you know, multiple big cities that are going to just have to be completely reconstructed. We look at the progress that the Russians have managed to make in Mariupol, which is pretty fucking astounding, to be honest. Because I don't know if you guys saw the after pictures of Mariupol and actually saw the good pictures of what it was like. But that fight was not fucking clean whatsoever.
That was a mistake.
Yeah. And the similar things can be said about Bakhmut and can be said about Chasiv Yar and Avdiivka and so on and so on and so on. So, you know, it's like, yeah, that's just going to have to be worked in there. Infrastructure development, extraction of minerals or natural resources. So the infrastructure and then extraction of minerals or natural resources, this is soft industry. That stuff is definitely, you know, what Ukraine needs mostly, because they're going to need the material and they're going to need the industrial capacity in order to be able to actually make shit. So that's what they truly fucking need. You know, again, tech centers can go fuck themselves. The World Bank will develop a special financing package to accelerate these efforts. I hate that the World Bank is going to be involved, but at the same time, because of the involvement of the Ukrainian Development Fund and BlackRock and whatnot, I'm not surprised the World Bank's involved. Russia will be reintegrated into the global economy. This is point 13. So all the previous stuff that I was talking about was sub-points of point 12. So point 13, the lifting of sanctions will be discussed and agreed upon gradually and on an individual basis. Honestly speaking, that's probably the only way to fucking do it, because frankly speaking, the EU isn't gonna, like, here's the thing, the EU is not gonna lift sanctions for as long as they can fucking hold out. I don't see them lifting sanctions anytime soon. The US is going to accelerate the process of lifting the sanctions. And the problem is that it's mainly down to Congress, because Congress is the fucking idiots that we have to get in line in order to lift the sanctions. And we'll be able to do that easier here in the U.S. than they will be able to in the EU. The United States will conclude a long-term economic cooperation agreement aimed at mutual development in the fields of energy, natural resources, infrastructure, artificial intelligence, data processing centers, rare earth mining projects in the Arctic, and other mutually beneficial corporate cooperative opportunities. In the case of, again, energy, natural resources, infrastructure, the projects up in the Arctic, like the Arctic is a big one here because who controls the Arctic? Like, seriously, who controls the Arctic when it comes to the world? It's the U.S. and Russia. We're the ones that control the Arctic, period in the story. The rest of the world can kind of get bent when it comes to the Arctic. So at the end of the day, the Arctic is basically it's just a playground for us. So we'll see how that pans out. Russia will be invited to return to the G8. Honestly speaking, I don't think the Russians care about the G8 at this point in time. I wouldn't. It's like whatever. Like, what point does the G8 hold? Like, oh, you can re-invite us and kick us out again later. Because the U.S. can't stand on its own when it comes to. Well, okay, I say that maybe we could. But when you got the entirety of the EU, which that's basically the rest of the or the G7 is basically Europe, which let's face it, those economies they're over fucking valued anyways. They're non-productive economies. But hey, it is what it is. 14 frozen assets will be used in the following way. 100 billion of frozen Russian assets will be invested in U.S.-led reconstruction and investment efforts in Ukraine. The United States will receive 50% of the profits from this undertaking. Europe will add another 100 billion to increase the total investment available for Ukraine's reconstruction. Frozen European assets will be unfrozen. The remaining frozen Russian assets will be invested in a separate American-Russian investment vehicle that will implement joint American-Russian projects in the areas to be determined. This fund will be aimed at strengthening bilateral relations and increasing shared interests in order to create strong motivation not to return to conflict. So here's the fun part about this one. A lot of people, I did see a lot of people boo-hooing this point because they're like, oh, this is going to destroy trust in the dollar. No, it won't. Because
go ahead. Sorry. I was just reacting.
Because a lot of the frozen holdings in Europe is in gold. So all of a sudden you take all that gold away from the Europeans. Oh, brother, the Europeans are going to be shitting bricks. Like this is taking money away from the Europeans. This isn't taking money away from the Russians. The Russians are still going to benefit from it. It's taking money away from the Europeans. Because they've already been skimming all the interest off of this money the entire time they've had it frozen, and all of a sudden they're not going to have that money available.
Yeah, the only one that the major concern I have with that one is where it's the I'm drawing a blank on how it's worded in there entirely now, but where they combine the assets and it's governed over by the U.S. and Russia. Who's doing the governing? Because that could be a problem.
Well, it'll probably be a joint effort. Probably be like a 4-man or 6-man panel, 3 from each nation, and they just coordinate with what they want to do and whatnot. So, honestly speaking, like I know for a fact a huge chunk, like the first chunk of money that's coming out of that would be, hey, we're building a tunnel under the Bering Strait. So, I suspect that that's where that would be going.
That would be nice.
A joint American-Russian working group on security issues will be established to facilitate and ensure the fulfillment of all provisions of this agreement. Notice how joint American-Russian. There's no mention of the Europeans in this bitch at all.
Yep.
Again, this cuts out the Europeans. The Europeans are being told, you do not control your destiny. We do. And that's the truth of the matter. You can either get along to, or you can work alongside us to get alongside us, or we can let the Russians kill you. That's what that one is. Russia will legislatively enshrine a policy of non-aggression towards Europe and Ukraine. This one, due to the nature of the guarantee, if Europe or Ukraine aggress upon Russia, then the agreement basically is null and void anyways. Then at that point in time, them enshrining it legislatively doesn't actually matter as much. So honestly speaking, that's kind of just like de facto, like, okay.
It's pretty paper.
Yeah. The United States and Russia will agree to extend the validity of treaties on the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons and arms control, including START 1. Oh.
Yeah, I was wondering what your response to that was going to be.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh. Trump got in there on that one.
Yeah, that's, oh, wow. So mind you, okay, guys, just want to make sure everybody's clear on this. This is actually the first time that I've properly looked through the shit. I've just been paying attention to the commentary. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So that's actually, and that's actually a bigger thing that most people might realize.
What is START 1?
So it's the Strategic Arms Treaty.
It's basically denuclearizing the first major denuclearization since Reagan.
Yeah. And here's the thing, is the whole point is that you have weapons like Orezhnik, for example. Now, Orezhnik can be equipped with conventional warheads, as shown and proven by the Russians already. But it is also capable of being nuclear. So it's a simple fact that it's like, hey, we need to tone this down. We need to not be posturing with the nukes. And mind you, Trump, and historically Trump's been anti-nuclear weapons. So it's nice to see that in there. It really is, because the START treaty was definitely something like that, and the Intermediate Ballistic Missile Treaty, the IBM treaty, and a few other things like that. Like there's been a few treaties that we definitely need to get back into play. Absolutely. So it's nice to see that included in here.
Yeah, it's also interesting. Real quick, it's also interesting that is in there, considering between Trump's first term and this term, he decommissioned a whole bunch of old nukes and rebuilt them as new ones. So a lot of our nuclear stockpile is less than 20 years old now. Anywhere between 20 years old.
Well, that's because we replaced a bunch of the old Minuteman ones that we had with Minuteman 2s.
Yeah, but no, yes, that is correct. But he was also taking old ones apart and was building brand new ones.
Yeah.
So we actually didn't lower our numbers at all. We just not a complete refresh, but a very thorough one. So with that in there, if that is successful with START 1, we will have a much newer inventory, and we'll just decommission the older ones that hadn't been gotten to yet.
Yeah.
Where the Russians haven't been able to do any of it.
Oh no, they have. They've deployed almost, I believe it's around 50 to 60% of their Sarmat 1 inventory was replaced with Sarmat 2.
Was it?
Yeah, it was around 50 to 60%.
Okay.
Um,
I stand corrected on that part.
Ukraine agrees to remain a non-nuclear state in accordance with the Treaty of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. This one is a big middle finger to the Europeans because do you guys know what the B-63 is?
No.
B or P?
B-63. So
a Cold War bomb.
Yeah, well, it's a Cold War nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And the NATO, if I remember correctly, has like 500 of them in inventory. This prevents that right there by, Ukraine being held to account on the non-proliferation agreement prevents the Europeans from moving B-63s into Ukraine.
I'm good with that.
So, yeah. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant will be restarted under International Atomic Energy Agency supervision, and the generated electricity will be split equally between Russia and Ukraine, 50-50. Good deal for Ukraine on that one because otherwise they lost it completely. So
yeah.
Good deal on their end. That's a very, very, very middle position. 50-50, that's a great deal because it could have been like 75-25 or 80-20 or 90-10. It could have just been completely in Russia's favor, but a 50-50 is not bad for them. Both countries undertake to introduce educational programs in schools, society that promote understanding and tolerance of different cultures and elimination of racism and prejudice.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too.
The Ukrainians aren't gonna fucking do that. They're gonna pretend to do it and not do it at all, or they're gonna export their bullshit to the U.S. and open more summer camps.
That's a possibility as well.
Ukraine will adopt EU rules on religious tolerance and protection of linguistic minority. Okay, well, shit. If they're adopting the EU standards, then okay, they might actually be able to do it. Fuck. Because the EU standards, you go to jail. You said mean word, you go to jail. Both countries agree to lift all discriminatory measures and to guarantee the rights of Ukrainian and Russian media and education. It's funny because the Russians, all they really did is hey, we're not gonna be allowing you to teach, the funny shit here. We're gonna put a stop to that. That's basically all they did. All Nazi ideology and activity must be rejected and prohibited. See, that's that sub point right there. That tells me that the Banderites are going to migrate to the U.S. New York is going to get infested with Banderites. I guarantee it.
Well, that's a bit of a problem.
What?
Huh?
Get infested with what?
Banderites.
Oh, Banderites.
That sounds like it could be a problem.
Well, it already is. I believe it's Ellen, New York, I believe is the name of the town, was literally taken over by Ukrainians with love for a funny mustache guy. And they set up a children's summer camp that, if you actually look into it, somebody did leak some shit about the summer camp. It's literally a training ground for the Banderite militias in Ukraine. It's literally a training camp. So 21 deals with territories. Crimea, Luhansk, and Donetsk will be recognized de facto as Russian, including by the United States. Kherson and Zaporizhzhia will be frozen along the line of contact, which will mean de facto recognition along the line of contact, basically meaning the river is the border. Russia renounces other annexed territories, probably referring to Russian-occupied parts of Kharkiv, Sumy, and Dnipropetrovsk. because the other 5 areas, basically it's like, okay, we pull out of the rest of the territory that we've occupied. Ukrainian forces withdraw from the part of Donetsk Oblast that they currently control. This withdrawal zone will be regarded as a neutral demilitarized buffer zone, internationally recognized as territory belonging to the Russian Federation. Russian forces will not enter this demilitarized zone. Turning the last chunk of Donetsk into a DMZ is actually probably one of the best options, because then at that point in time, it puts a significant distance between Donetsk city and the Ukrainians, so they're no longer striking Donetsk city directly. And on top of that, it allows the Russians to station a force inside Donetsk without needing to be pushed up to the actual front line.
Yep.
After future territorial arrangements are agreed, both the Russian Federation and Ukraine undertake not to change these arrangements by force. Any security guarantees will not apply in the event of violation of this commitment. Ukraine, don't try to start another fucking war. Russia, 23, Russia will not obstruct Ukraine's commercial use of the Dnipro River, and agreements will be reached on free transportation of grain across the Black Sea. Honestly speaking, like the whole Dnipro River thing, like, let's face it, nobody was expecting, like, Russia really hasn't, like, completely, like, they haven't laid mines and shit across the river, so it's like, I don't think they were going to restrict the river all that much anyways. 24,
too much about them. I was trying to think. I really don't remember hearing too much about them trying to shut down the waterways.
Yeah, not at all. Like, honestly, like, there was the whole dam being blown thing, but that didn't restrict the waterway at all. If nothing else, it just kind of opened it up a little more.
Yeah.
A humanitarian committee will be created to resolve the outstanding issues. All remaining prisoners and bodies will be exchanged on an all-for-all principle. Reasonable and expected. Civilian detainees and hostages will be returned, including children. See, here's the issue I have with that one. Is it's like, okay, cool. Problem I have with that, Ukraine is notorious for child trafficking. So, honestly speaking, all those Ukrainian kids that everybody loves to talk about, you know, being you know, taken as hostages in Russia, I'm like, no, they're probably better off in Russia than Ukraine. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah, that crossed my mind as well.
Huh?
Oh, I said that crossed my mind as well.
Yeah. A family reunification program will be implemented, you know, obvious. Measures will be taken to alleviate the suffering of conflict victims. Yeah, actually take care of the fucking population that got caught in the crossfire, you know. Normal shit. Ukraine will hold elections 100 days after the agreement is signed. Fucking Zelensky sitting there fucking like, shit.
And I haven't practiced my piano playing in years.
All parties involved in the conflict will receive full amnesty for actions committed during the war and will undertake not to file claims or pursue complaints in the future. That one is pure and simply, the Ukrainians do not want the fucking smoke. The legal smoke is fucking real. Which, honestly speaking, like, at the end of the fucking day, like, we might as well just write off the money anyways. Oh well. But that bullshit with, you know, oh, the Russians came in and massacred this village, and it's like, then why do we have video of Azov and Tornado and Kraken and all those fuckheads going into those towns way before the Russians even were there? Like, what is that? What is that? Huh? Why would the Russians hand out food and water and other shit like that and then just do funny shit? Like, I don't believe for a second that the Russians did that. So yeah, that's literally just, amnesty, across the board, which again, like that right there is going to give, well, I just thought about this. I wonder how much intelligence work has been done to identify the Banderites that are active and present. And I wonder if they're on like a no-fly list or something like that.
Don't know. It's an interesting question.
They might actually have a harder time coming to the U.S. than I suspect. Actually, now that I think about it. Now, here's the fun part. This agreement will be legally binding. Its implementation will be monitored and guaranteed by a peace council headed by President Trump. Predetermined sanctions will apply in the event of violations. So one, I would love to know what the sanctions are. And two, here's the thing, is that's not to say that Trump, after he leaves in 28 and he is still rearing for a political fight, wouldn't be still the chair of that fucking council.
Mm-hmm.
So, weird.
Indeed.
I'm loving the idea of him looking at the Ukrainians and bitch smacking them in a few years.
I can see it.
Once all parties have agreed to and signed this memorandum, the ceasefire will enter into force immediately after both sides withdraw to the agreed positions, so the implementation of the agreement can begin. So, yeah, that's the overall proposal. And per my understanding, the Ukrainians have agreed to this proposal. The Europeans are freaking the fuck out about this. They tried to push, I believe it was called the 24 or 23 point proposal or whatever. It was a revised version, which basically it was the same agreement, but they stripped out multiple things. I don't know what they stripped out exactly, but they're frothing at the mouth that, the Ukrainians can't agree to this, yada, yada, yada. And if you guys haven't seen it, the Yuki Twitter space is freaking out over this agreement. Like, they are full press, page to page, back to back, fucking losing their marbles over this. So it's an interesting situation. It's an interesting situation. Any comments, considerations, anything that you guys want to bring up?
I think a lot of my comments were commented on as you were talking.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I view this as the best positive. Like, honestly speaking, and I agree with Willie on this one. If you guys don't know Willie, he's the Brit or the Australian that's got brain cancer that does map shit. He basically laid it out, like, the agreement that the Americans have here is actually pretty fucking middle of the ground overall. Like, the Russians don't benefit a huge amount from it. And then the other agreement that the Europeans are pushing, it's only benefit to the Europeans and the Ukrainians. Mm-hmm. So overall, the American agreement is the better agreement, period, in the story, because it's very middle of the ground. And mind you, Russia didn't have to be this considerate, because the realities on the ground were detrimental to any negotiation that the Ukrainians entered. Like, the Russians could have hardballed the shit out of the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians would have had to agree. So I'd be counting your lucky stars if you're Ukrainian.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about as good as they could hope for. Whether they realize or accept that are entirely different matters, but it's about as good as they could hope for.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's always the case. It is what it is. Unfortunately, and you look at the situation with the Europeans. The Macron is trying to put together a coalition to put, third-party forces into Ukraine to act as a security force. And it's like, no, you're trying to fucking create a new fucking battle plan. And here's the fun part, is that if the Russians just maintain they just maintain their fucking shit, they don't fucking dick around, and they don't fucking, they tell their forces on the front line, hey, don't fucking shoot at them unless they start shooting at you. And document fucking everything.
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden some douchebag over in the wood line decides to open up with a fucking PKP or a PKM, sorry, because the Russians have PKPs. But if they decide to open up with a PKM or an RPD or something like that, and, fucking document video evidence, like, hey, this is where we're at. That's who the Ukrainians are over there in that wood line. They are currently firing small arms at us. We are about to return fire now. And then they just lay waste to the fucking wood line. Well, at that point in time, it was a response to force. It's a totally different fucking situation, because then at that point in time, the Peace Council will look at the Ukrainians. Hey, why'd you do that? It was not us. That was a rogue element. Though they are from a unit that didn't agree with the conditions of the agreement whatsoever. They acted on their own, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the drill.
Oh, yeah.
They'll obfuscate as hard as they can in order to maintain the guarantee, because they know damn well if that guarantee falls apart, they lose the entire eastern half of the country.
Yeah.
That guarantee, this agreement right here, is the only way that Ukraine survives as a viable nation. Only way. So, boo-hoo, oh well. But yeah, so we've got that. And then, further on, if the Europeans attempt to actually restart the conflict, then at that point in time, honestly speaking, if I were the United States, and I hope to God this mentality starts to come to fruition here soon, we just say fuck it and we bomb the shit out of the Europeans. All of a sudden, the RAF fucking loses 3 or 4 military bases. The fucking French military fucking gets absolutely shellacked. The Germans, all of a sudden, they're wondering why their fucking Ramstein just got bombed into oblivion. Like, hey, you're gonna fucking stop that before we fucking do even worse.
Well, we don't even have to do that. All we have to do is just stop paying bills.
Yep.
Yes, but I'm sorry, but I've had the mentality of the past fucking few weeks now. We wasted little boy and fat man on Japan. It should have been Paris and Berlin.
Could have been. Could make an argument for that.
Not
all right, real quick.
Not London.
Well, no. We would have had to build the third bomb for London. Like, we only had 2 bombs. London, we had a bunch of forces stationed in it. It is what it is. But we could come back later. We could pull all our forces out and then just bomb it afterwards. Like, we could just do that. Ooh. You know what we could have done with Paris? You know how Charles de Gaulle bitched at us and didn't want us being the first forces into Paris?
Mm-hmm.
We could have said fuck it, fucking loaded that bitch up on a fucking plane, fucking flew it over, and then fucking dropped that bitch on fucking Charles de Gaulle as he's marching through fucking Paris, and all of our forces are outside the city fucking safe.
Honestly, I think Europe would have been a far better place.
Yep.
Including France.
Including France. Okay, real quick, break time. I need to go do trucks.
All right.
Call in. Yeah, I'm here until a weird time. But yeah, just to comment on, again, overall, as I said, Like, that agreement, I don't care what anybody has to fucking say. You know, the Yukis can bitch and whine and cry all they want, but it's like, you're not getting a better deal. You're just not.
No, they won't be.
And anybody who tries to claim that they could get a better deal, I'm like, no, you can't. It would require literally the entirety of every Europe's military to even start to swing the balance of power. And even then, when you're talking about just the logistics train alone, it's unfeasible. Well, think about it. You know, all of a sudden the French are trying to transport shit from France into Germany, into Poland, and then into fucking Ukraine.
Right.
The at that point in time, like, the Russians can just be like, okay, I guess Cowabunga it is, and they just start bombing European cities. They just start taking out the fucking rail stations and just knocking out the fucking logistics hubs that the French would use, that the Germans would use. Like, they could just crater fucking Poland and prevent the Germans and French from getting to the battlefield. Like, I don't understand this whole concept of, oh, we're gonna sit the European army. It's like, good luck, have fun.
Yeah, that one does make me scratch my head.
And don't get me started on the British, because they don't have any airlift capacity whatsoever.
Do they have any air at all right now? Besides what to put up at an air show?
You know what's funny? I think their Air Force might actually be better equipped than their Navy and their Army combined.
Have you been seeing the mishaps they've been having with their air assets over water?
Yes, actually, I have been.
They literally cannot remember to take the plugs off of the aircraft. So they're losing aircraft. It's not a one-off. It's not a two-off. It's not an oops. I think they're at like 6 in the last 3 years. Helicopters, jets, 235s, multiple helicopters. Their attrition rate's actually kind of scary.
Why? Like, why can't they, maintain this?
Well, they're broke. I mean, horrifically broke. And it's showing both in their equipment and their training. So they're just... The people that are supposed to be maintaining it are making stupid mistakes. The people that are supposed to be getting stuff ready to go are making horrifically stupid mistakes. And it gets 50 feet up and then goes in the water. Or it goes in the water if it's a ship that's supposed to float, and it goes in the water and doesn't float.
Interesting.
They are having a very, very...
Or in my favorite case, you know that one destroyer that the British put in the Red Sea during the operations in the Red Sea?
The only destroyer that they had that was mission capable?
Well, it wasn't very mission capable because it had to be towed back to the UK.
Yeah,
because the main power plant fucking shit the bed.
Yeah. I had heard rumor, and this is entirely only rumor that I have heard, that they might actually have to cut open the ship to get the power plant out because they can't fix it.
Oh, well, look at what's going on, or what had happened, I should say, with the Queen Elizabeth, the aircraft carrier.
Oh,
they got rid of 20 ships in their Navy to be able to maintain that one ship budget-wise.
And they can't maintain it.
Nope.
And it's not just a case of they can't maintain it because of money. It's they can't maintain it because they don't know what the hell they're doing. It's horror.
Which, by the way, this is the same nation that managed to not only survive World War I with its navy intact, even after the disaster at Jutland,
Yep.
but then also managed to mostly keep their navy intact after World War II.
That's right.
And yet, which I do love the irony of the fact that they lost all their battle cruisers at Jutland. And then the last surviving battle cruiser that they had, they lost in World War II. And it was the first naval vessel that they lost.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that last bit.
Wait, was that the Hood?
That was the Hood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And somehow they went from the best aircraft navy to the worst.
Oh, yeah,
I would rather have to deal with the Chinese with an aircraft carrier than the Brits with an aircraft carrier, because at least the Chinese are semi-competent. They're willing to learn.
Well, that's the thing is I was talking to a guy that I talk to every so often over in the UK, and he's they have this whole it's like ROTC, but it's not exactly ROTC. It's quite a bit different.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so he was in the Navy side of that, and he was supposed to go into the Navy, but then he ended up getting hit with basically it was, oh, hey, we're full up. We can't take you right now, but come back to us next year. And he basically got that runaround for like 3 years. So he decided, okay, fuck it. I'm not going to go into the Navy. And then the following year, after, being done with the program and not participating anymore, they finally give him a call like, hey, are you still interested in joining the Navy? And he's like, bro, I got a job and I'm, my girl's pregnant. Like, no, fuck you. like they don't know how to manage their personnel whatsoever.
Yeah. It's kind of horrifying, honestly. From what they once were to what they've become.
Is it just did they just get lazy or what? What exactly happened?
They got broke, they got lazy, and then they got even more broke.
Fair enough.
Well, no, actually, I won't even call it lazy. They lost the last generation of naval officers that actually knew what the fuck they were doing. And the problem is because of naval style politics. You think military politics are stupid? Wait until you talk about naval military politics.
Yeah, the Admiralty Board is a creature unto itself.
Yep. And that was one of the big problems, is that a lot of the older officers did not want to pass down their lessons as readily, because most of them were like, hey, I'm going to be the big shot admiral until I'm fucking 80. Well, the problem was a shit ton of them fucking dropped dead back in the 70s and 80s, going into the 90s, while still in service. And so then the officers that were coming up behind them, they had never fucking taught them properly.
Hey,
so their officer cadre is just fucking terrible. Like when you've got fucking who's the admiral that fucking goes around talking all the time and he sounds like a fucking idiot every time he opens his mouth? I forget his name.
British or American?
Huh?
British or American?
The Brit. He was over at NATO for a bit. I think he might still be over at NATO.
I don't remember. I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember.
I know his name starts with a B. It might be something like Brown or something like that.
Could be.
Anyways, the point is that guy, like, you listen to him talk about naval operations, and it sounds like you're talking to a fucking salesman.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck am I listening to?
The last time they had good sailors and naval operators was when Margaret Thatcher was in office.
Damn.
Because her generation was the last generation that knew what the hell they were doing. There's a reason why they had to go to was it Norway or the Swedes where they have to buy their ships now?
Oh, Norway.
And then they're trying to do build new subs. Oh my god, what a joke!
Oh yeah, they're talking about acquiring subs from the French.
Yeah. Well, they made their new class of subs, Dolphin or something, some sort of Dolphin-y type of thing, and great subs. They can't maintain them. They can't run them. They can't afford them. They can't maintain them.
Yeah, that's why they're talking, because the French have the French have a weird mentality with their doctrine, where they do these really, 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 really high end subs, and then for export they do these really low end subs that they'll build the frame and the shell, and then they'll let the customer put the tech into it.
Yep.
And I've heard that's what the Brits are considering doing, because they can't. Again, they need shit that they can actually afford. Problem is the capability of those subs is incredibly limited compared to what they have now. But the problem is cost.
Yeah, they can't maintain what they have, and they can't afford to make the new design, and they can't afford to maintain the few that they've made, and they can't afford to maintain their old ones, which are wearing out to the point where people don't want to serve on them.
Well, let me give you a perfect example of the current state of the UK. So, you guys have heard of Royal Ordnance and Rolls-Royce, right?
Yes.
All right, so Royal Ordnance, the company responsible for the guns and turret drives of the Challenger main battle tanks. Rolls-Royce, responsible for the power plant and the electrical of the Challenger main battle tank. Okay?
Yeah.
So what do these idiots do when they need to refit their Challenger 2s, because the turret drives are wearing out and the power plants need refurbished and all this other shit, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, God, what'd they do?
They sold Rolls-Royce and Royal Ordnance to Rheinmetall because they had a budgetary shortfall that they needed to cover the year prior. And then the report about the state of the Challenger fleet came out, and they didn't have the companies to make the replacements for the tanks.
So they pulled a Boeing. Okay.
And so now, first off, the Challenger 3, I don't care who says what, the Challenger 3 ain't happening. Like, at this point in time, they're going to have to cut the Challenger fleet in half in order to utilize the Charlie 3. Because the Charlie 3 is... So the Challenger 2 was almost double the cost to build and maintain as the Charlie 1. And then the Charlie 3 is almost triple the cost to build and maintain over the Challenger 2. But the problem is Rheinmetall refuses to do a upgrade program for the Challenger 2s because they want to make money on the Charlie 3.
Of course. That's kind of like owning a power plant and a coal power plant and the coal mine and selling the mine.
Yep.
Ingenious move.
Oh, entirely British move.
Yes, very. But the funny part about it is the fact that they sold it to Rheinmetall, and Rheinmetall right now has been working on a fun little vehicle called the Puma. Well, here's the problem with the Puma. It's supposed to be the replacement to the Martyr or the Martyr 2. I believe it's currently the Martyr 2. It might be the Marder 3. I don't remember. But the Marder 3 armored personnel carrier.
Yeah, I was just going to say, isn't that their six-wheeled APC?
No, it's a tracked APC.
Okay.
But the Puma is supposed to be the replacement. What the problem is because of the design dimensions of the Puma, they have to make one of two sacrifices. Either one, the Puma can be armed and they lose out on all the electronics that they want to put in the Puma, or they can have all the electronics, but the Puma can't have the cannon because the Puma's design dimensions doesn't allow them to put a big enough power plant in the vehicle in order to produce enough electricity to actually run the vehicle.
Oh my God.
And the German government refuses to allow them to increase the size of the vehicle to put a new power plant in it because they want something of similar stature to the Marder. And it's like, but you can't have it. Because you can't have the armed and the electronics, you have to pick. And so now they decided, okay, we're going to try to do both, where we have some unarmed ones equipped with the electronics, and then we'll have some that are armed without the electronics. Well, problem. Rheinmetall doesn't want to do that because Rheinmetall is going to miss out on money for that. And so it's literally just a big old circle jerk of people just stroking each other off, trying to figure out what to do. And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah. That 3-4 European country arms setup is, you think the American arms manufacturers are bad. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
At least we can produce. I mean, we can't produce a lot of something without going horrifically over budget and having to cut it by 70%, but at least we can produce something.
Yeah.
Why is Europe so retarded when it comes to this stuff? Like, was this an intentional decision that they made to just be retarded, or
well,
like?
So it's multifaceted. So let me kind of go down a few of the points. The first point is that they need to limit their defense spending because everybody likes to talk shit about the U.S. doesn't have train lines, it doesn't have high-speed rail, yada yada yada. I decided to do a cost analysis of the high-speed rail network in China, because people always want to use China as a fucking example.
Yeah, I've never understood that. I mean, I understand it.
You want to know what I found out after doing this cost analysis?
What did you find out?
The yearly maintenance for their high-speed rail network, guess how much it is?
How much?
830-something billion a year.
Jesus.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Now, what does that number compare to?
Probably about what the Europeans are spending on their rail and their social.
No. It is almost the same as what we spend on defense every year. Now then,
a third lower, but yeah, I can see that. But it's about a third lower, but yeah, it's thereabouts.
No, because the NDAA is around 800-something billion. It's only like 30 or 40 billion short of what we spend every year on defense.
I thought we were at like 1.3 trillion a year.
No. that might be the budget shortfall, but what actually gets approved is around 87. It's like 87 or 870 billion. But the point is that they basically spend the same amount of money that we spend on defense on their high-speed rail network every year.
That's spending that money on their rail, correct?
Yeah, on that's them spending money on their rail network.
Okay, I just wanted to double.
But the point is that it's like, oh, okay, so China doesn't spend dick on their military, and then the U.S. spends a lot on their military, and then the Chinese spend a lot on their rail stuff, and we spend a decent amount on rail, but not nearly close to what we spend on defense.
We spend on commercial rail. There's a big difference.
Well, yeah, true.
We don't give two flying fucks about civil rail. Well, not civil rail, because commercial is civil rail.
Passenger.
Yeah.
Well, and also, then I like to point out to the autistic train kids that like to post about this stuff. How do you make it profitable?
In America, you can't.
Exactly.
And
in China and Japan and Europe, you can make it very profitable overall, but they don't.
Yeah,
because
Japan's the only one that does. Well, is as close as they're able to.
But no, the point is,
Britain used to be able to do it until the 70s and 80s, where it was I forget if it was 1 p.m. before Thatcher or it was the PM before Thatcher, who tore out like 60 or 70% of their rail infrastructure.
But the point is that
when he did that, he gutted it and bankrupted it.
But the point is that at the end of the day, it's a difference. It's a difference of just overall considerations, and it's like, all right, real quick, because my brain's mush right now. What was the other topic we wanted to cover?
I do not remember.
Oh, you wanted to talk about the You wanted to talk about that sovereign citizen and his traffic ticket.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun one for the end. Well, I'm talking about the other topic that was.
We covered Ukraine.
I'm now. Yeah.
I like to call it Yuktobania, not Ukraine. They've got about the same amount of luck during the war.
I love that you're a fellow nerd.
Hey, I grew up on Ace Combat. The first one I played was Air Combat.
Oh yeah, no, I was it Ace Combat 2? Yeah, I think I started on 2.
I don't remember the name of the 2. I remember the 3rd was Electrosphere, but don't remember 2. Actually, don't even know if it had.
What was Electrosphere?
3rd in the Ace Combat video game series.
Was it also air-based combat, or was it something else?
All aircraft.
Oh.
Yeah, Ace Combat's all aircraft.
I can't believe it's been almost... They just had a 25th anniversary of something. Not the last game, but I think it was the one before that.
Oh, wow. It's been a while, then.
It's been a hot minute, yeah. Sorry, I really swirled there.
No worries.
Oh, do you guys want to talk about the? Okay. So I have a thing we can talk about.
Oh, dear.
So the whole situation with, it's Joe over Trump. Trump's a liberal. Trump's a Democrat, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, was it you were wanting to talk about the happy house that is the conservative Shark Tank? Was that what it was?
No, but we can get into it. So we got this whole situation with fucking, everybody's basically like, oh, Trump's a traitor, and it's the most hilarious shit possible because, right now the Democrats are trying to spend like, oh, he wants to give a 2-year extension to the subsidies for the ACA, and it's like, no, that's not what he said, but okay. They're trying to say that he's best buddies with Mamdani, which it's like, no, he brought Mamdani in and struggle sessioned the fuck out of him and made it clear, like, you don't get to do whatever the fuck you want to do, bud.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch all of it, but I watched enough of it, decent chunks. And it's like people are going, they were playing buddy buddy, and no, they weren't. That was I've got you by your nose ring, and I'm going to take you wherever I want to. That was a show and a half. I don't know where people are getting the misread on that.
Yeah.
Well, what it is, and I'll explain that real quick. The Democrats are running that angle to try to make it seem basically they've switched from we can't attack Trump anymore, so let's make Trump look bad in the eyes of his voters. That's what they're doing. And you notice it when it comes to the DeSantis crowd. The hardcore DeSantis crowd has bought into it hook, line, and sinker as well, which I'm curious who paid them $7,000.
Yeah, the former Nikki Haley DeSantis crowd has now become they've almost become the Fuentes crowd.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And some of the other cohorts. And that now you've got Mountain P, MTG. Yeah, she's gone full psycho.
Well, yeah, because so I had to explain this to Gavin the other day because he was asking me about it. He's like, I don't understand what the fuck's going on. I'm like, MTG was the attempted pariah. She was supposed to be the crazy lady that nobody wanted to associate with, that nobody wanted to be around, and she could drive people away from Trump by staying as close to Trump as possible. Because here's the thing. She broke rules on the House floor all the fucking time.
Oh, God, yes.
Like, she just flagrantly just disregarded every fucking House rule that she possibly could in order to stir shit up. And then she would engage in the most absolute brain-dead fucking shit possible. Like, the whole fucking Jewish space laser thing. That was fucking hilarious to me.
I wasn't gonna go there because it was so ridiculous. I was gonna see if you did.
But that's the point. She was a poison apple, and then she got purged. And mind you, her polling numbers are fucking terrible.
Oh, she's not even gonna be a useful idiot.
Like, she fell apart with her voters because she had gotten to the point where she was just flagrantly just being retarded, and her voters were like, okay, what the fuck, dude?
When you become the stupid version of McCain, you've got a problem.
Yeah, actually, that's a great way to put it. That's a great way to fucking put it, actually. She was the new McCain.
Except she was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to feel bad for her because it was like, should you be in the assisted living house with the people with round faces? It's so bad.
But
was that wrong of me?
No, that was fucking hilarious.
It's just,
but no, it's all these different little things that have created the conditions where it's like, okay, they are pulling out every fucking stop because what they're trying to do, and I've heard rumors that they're now going after House members to try to get House members to resign.
Yeah, they are.
Because
both sides are.
Well, no, here's the thing: is that
all three sides are, I should say.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you are correct. But the thing is that I've heard from a couple different people, like, hey, did you see this person's talking about potentially resigning? This person. There's like 3 or 4 that have voiced possibly resigning, and it's like, oh shit, they're trying to seize the Congress before the midterms.
Yeah, if you look at where the different seats are, both House and Senate, yeah, they're trying to flip it before the midterms.
And the reason why I think they're trying to do that is because I think they know they're going to lose.
More than likely, they're going to get the House during the midterms, and the Senate is going to be so freaking close. I just don't know.
No. Here's my point. The ACA. Trump came out and just straight up said it. Let's put the money into people's health accounts and let them decide.
Yes, he did. The problem is it has to be sold. They need to be able to sell it to their constituents properly. And let's face it, 90% of the people on the Hill they couldn't sell a box of eyes to a blind man.
Unfortunately.
But here's the point.
Yeah.
What happens if the ACA subsidies go away? Their last big money laundering op in the U.S. goes away.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. What have they been funding the ACA subsidies using?
Anything they can get their hands on, but you're leaning towards something specific, so.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. What is Trump railing about IPOing?
Yeah, that's a good point.
If they don't secure the ACA subsidies now, they lose them. Period. End of story.
Yeah, that's probably what's gonna get hammered on in January once the government gets shut down again. And then that's if either side is smart about it, they'll use that for the midterms. I don't know if either side will be smart about it, but that would be.
If I remember correctly, the IPO for Fannie or Freddie is they're trying to get it done for March. Because here's the point: quarter 4. What are companies doing quarter 4? And I completely fucking forgot this. And by the way, Dale.
Yeah.
I made those comments about the fucking ETF that we're in.
Yeah.
And I completely fucking spaced on this. Everything takes a nosedive in quarter 4 because people are moving their cash positions around. Companies are moving their cash positions around. They're moving this, they're moving that, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're restructuring, et cetera, et cetera. They do all that shit in quarter 4 to prep for quarter 1.
Right.
What happens in April? What is April?
Isn't that tax deadline?
Yep. Thank you. Oh my God, Dale. You're the first. I have talked to 5 people about this. You're the first one to fucking get it on the first try. Holy shit. I love you. It's tax season. If they can IPO Fannie and Freddie before the tax deadline, and then people file their fucking taxes under the current lending rules, which will change with the IPO of Fannie and Freddie, but under the current rules, you have to show 2 years of your tax returns in order to apply for a loan. Well, here's the thing. What's the difference between a 30-year and a 50-year fixed rate mortgage?
How much money the lender makes off of you?
A whole lot of interest.
No. Because here's the thing. What does the average person with a 30-year fucking fixed rate mortgage do anyways?
Refinance it?
Yep.
They refinance it, and they take out a second mortgage to pay for their kids' school.
Yeah, that is true.
This whole idea, the whole narrative that got propped up by the libertarians and the Democrats, and the Groypers joined in as well, was that the 50-year fixed rate mortgage was just going to be basically debt slavery. Here's the point, though. Most people don't pay off their 30-year mortgages because they take out a second 30-year mortgage on their house in order to pay for shit. Sending their kids to school, doing this, doing that, et cetera, buying investment properties, so on and so on and so on. People take out those extra mortgages. So the 50-year term doesn't matter. What matters is that you have an extra $300-400 a month that you're not putting towards a fucking principal or putting towards the loan, because the principal is part of the loan, but not putting towards a loan. No, you can take that extra $300-400 and invest it into the market, property, business, et cetera, et cetera. And the whole point is that it gives wiggle room to people to do exactly, and I mean exactly, what we have done for decades prior, where the 30-year fixed rate mortgage was the vehicle by which the middle class was able to flourish.
Well, yes and no. It became the vehicle that the middle class was able to use to flourish after groups started playing with our money. Because
yeah, of course. But here's the thing. What happens when the Fed and the Treasury, the Fed on defense, the Treasury on offense, and all of a sudden you got that wiggle room anyways? All of a sudden, that's a whole different ballgame, bud.
Yeah, theoretically, yes.
That's the problem, is that we, as people, have never had a Treasury and Federal Reserve working for us. Never. We haven't seen that at all in our entire lives. Because the last time it was a thing, 1971.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Actually, just to go back to the 50-year mortgage real quick, something I did somewhat of a dive into, the mortgage rates and stuff. While I'm not yet sure if the 50-year mortgage would be a good thing to get on your house, it would be an absolutely phenomenal thing to get on any other properties you want to buy and rent out. And here is why. Did you know that if you take out a mortgage on a property specifically to turn it into a rental rather than a residential home for yourself, you can write off every single dollar of interest?
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Yep.
So in that sense, it makes perfect sense, because interest doesn't matter, it's all written off.
How do you think the boomers built their wealth? They bought their house and they bought 3 or 4 rental properties.
Yep.
It's how they built their wealth.
That's part of it.
But that's the whole point, is at the end of the day, again, the 50-year mortgage doesn't fucking matter, because as long as you're able to pay the mortgage, it doesn't fucking matter how, because say you get the mortgage at 20, let's just say 20. You're paying on it until you're fucking 50. But
Yes.
if you're able to use that mortgage to leverage into other things, because you're not paying as much money per month, and you're able to leverage into other things, you could have those other things paying your mortgage anyways.
Yes.
That's the whole key point, is the mortgage, the term of the mortgage doesn't fucking matter, because at the end of the day, you just keep on fucking going. You build. It's only motherfuckers that don't build anything that suffer from this. And guess what? Those motherfuckers are going to suffer anyways. They're going to be the renters. Like, I hate to say it like this, but when Vivek Ramaswamy comes out and says, you guys were stupid, the people who abreact are the stupid ones that are going to be renting their entire lives. The people who listened to that and said, you know what, you're fucking right, those are the people who are going to be building shit.
Right.
Theoretically, yeah.
And the people who abreact hate that fact, because they see the people building shit, and they get envious. And then all of a sudden, it's a big fucking problem. This is why all the asshats that live outside of Ohio that talk all their shit, I don't give a fuck what they have to say, because they have no influence over my election whatsoever. But then you have assholes like Casey the car guy, who is talking, who has done a narrative op going from, should I run against Vivek Ramaswamy, to, I might vote for Acton. Oh, okay, dude, I see your fucking play. I see exactly what the fuck you're doing.
Oh, that guy is sleaze. Every once in a while, I'll turn on his YouTube videos or his onto his X channel. That guy is sleaze.
Who exactly is
Absolutely. So he's a former car YouTuber that supposedly had an epiphany and decided to get into politics. I call bullshit. I suspect that he was approached by the Ohio Democrats at some point in time in the past year and a half, because the Ohio Democrats are losing on every front, especially if they lose property taxes, which we're looking at getting rid of property taxes. They'll never hold more than their strongholds in this state ever again.
Yeah. Think of the sleaziest.
Think of Nick Fuentes, but white.
Yes, and add in ambulance chaser lawyer and used car salesman on a small lot. And seriously, you watch that guy. Oh, I wouldn't be able to find his video now, but I can take a look and see if I can find it for you, and I'll post it later on tonight. Where he's sitting in his garage around all of his fancy crap, probably a couple $1 million worth of crap, and most of it is crap. Good looking crap, but it's crap. And I swear, I felt the oil and the slime dripping down my back while he was having trying to have this political conversation with YouTube. Oh, it was horrible. It was maybe 6-8 months ago. And I forced myself to go to watch the whole thing. Actually, Hound, I think you're the one that sent it to me. Oh,
yeah,
that was terrific.
That was the should I run against Vivek Ramaswamy one.
It might have been, yeah. Oh, I had not seen something that uncomfortable and cringe at the same time in years.
Oh yeah, no, I made it probably 2/3 through the video before I just turned it off, because I'm like, yeah, no, this guy's a fucking shyster.
Yeah. And the amount of double speak that he was using.
Oh, he talks himself into a circle so fucking hard it's unreal. But no, that's the whole thing. Is at the end of the day, we're talking about narrative building. That's all this shit is. And here's the thing. None of it's fucking sticking.
Yeah.
Like the whole H-1B thing is kind of sticking, but at the same time, Trump has already made indications of what he plans to do with it. He plans to phase it out in stages. So I'm going to do 600,000, and then I'm going to do 300,000, and then I'm going to do this, and then and he's going to phase it out over time. Because at the end of the fucking day, and again, I don't give a shit what any of you stupid motherfuckers have to fucking say, honestly. We need to train the fucking workforce that's actually going to be fucking replacing these people.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to... As loath as I am to say it, we need to bring experts in, people in, temporarily, and that's the key word, temporarily, to train up the people that don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. No,
and
look at what's going on.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm completely agreeing with you, because look at what's going on with fucking Hyundai.
Yeah.
They brought in a bunch of Korean specialists, and people were bitching and whining and crying about that. And it's like, motherfucker, there's nobody to work in the plant that's actually trained.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in a whole new, fresh-faced fucking workforce. Like, there's nobody to work this plant in that area, but they had to put it there because it has the available population. And so when they started putting out the fucking the fucking job postings, they had a shit ton of people apply, and people are getting shipped up. I forget where Hyundai's other plant is. I want to say it's either Illinois, Indiana, or Mississippi. I don't remember where the plant is off the top of my head. But
you got Kia, Honda, and Hyundai, and they all get confused with each other.
Well, no, I know it's in one of those three states. I just don't remember which one. But the point is that actually, it might not Mississippi, Missouri. I meant Missouri, not my bad. But the point is that they're shipping the people that are going to be trained to operate that factory. They're shipping them up to the other factory to get trained while the factory is under construction.
Yep. They need to bring in training cadre, and that's what it is. Yep. You bring them in, you train up your people, and they leave.
But that's the thing, though,
and it's not being sold properly.
Well, it's not that it's not being sold properly; it's that people don't know how to fucking read clearly. Because one of the big things is
that's why you need people that go on TV and sell that, and go into local areas and sell it.
Yeah.
And
real quick, hold on. Take a break for a second.
Yep.
Well, a few minutes. My coworker's showing up, and I got a few minutes before I can clock out.
It drives me nuts. It's like, you got good things here. Why can't you communicate them?
All right, boys. Sorry about that.
No worries.
But yeah, no, and here's the key thing about the H-1Bs. What are the H-1Bs? They are 3-year temporary employment. That's what they're supposed to be, with a possible extension. And the key word there is possible, depending on the criticality of the position, because some projects might run over 3 years. You never know. But the problem is that the abuse of the system, because one, the Democrat bureaucrats were actually completely just saying fuck it and just approving everybody for an extension.
Mm-hmm.
And then ICE wasn't being allowed to actually enforce the visa conditions. And so it became a situation of, oh, hey, basically you can stay as long as you fucking want because ICE isn't going to come after you.
Yeah. And the kicker is it's not the H-1Bs that are the serious problem child.
Yeah, it's the O1s.
It's a couple of the other ones combined, and you've got... Honestly, the one that's probably the worst is the tourist visas, because you can get them easily. You come in and you never leave.
Wait, you mentioned the O1s. Aren't those the ones that are only for like super gifted people?
Well, that's the problem is that O1s. So a lot of the scammy companies over in India that scam the shit out of the immigration system and the visa system. A lot of the people that they get approved for are approved for O1s. So at the end of the fucking day, you're talking about a situation where the system needs actual reform. It needs actual enforcement. And these stupid motherfuckers that want to be like, my shit skins. It's like, motherfucker, like the system's broke. We actually need to fix it. We can't just get rid of it. We need it. We need to fix the fucking problem. And you motherfuckers are just being stupid.
All right. But, I mean, it would seem to me that if there was one that you would always want to keep, it would be the O1s. Because, again, those are the ones for, like, actually super talented people, not just random cashiers.
Those are the ones that use brain drain other countries.
Yeah, that seems like a good thing to do to brain drain other countries.
Here's the problem, is that, again, there are people that are being found to have O1s that don't have the qualifications and don't actually have the actual skill to be in the jobs they're in. We've been seeing this with Google. We've been seeing this with Apple. We've been seeing this with fucking... name every big tech company that has guys that have come in and... like, the H-1Bs are not the only problem. They are problematic, but they're not the only problem.
Right, but isn't it a lot harder to scam an O1B, for example, than an H-1B?
No, that's the problem, is that the O1s are... So the H1s are, they're giving out dime a dozen. This is just, in general, how the State Department was operating. This is what happens when you have a hostile bureaucracy. Mm-hmm. But then the O1s... they're just as problematic because, again, like the only time that I know for a fact that an O1 is legit is when it's fucking proper Asian.
When it's what?
Because when it's a yellow skinned motherfucker.
Oh, gotcha.
Because if they're yellow, more than likely they actually have the qualifications. And 9 times out of 10, they're in the innovation side of things. They're not in the production or the development side. They're in the innovation side.
Yes.
And that's also another problem that these dumb pieces of shit do not want to acknowledge and don't want to actually fucking have a conversation about, is that, hey, by the way, the majority of the innovation that occurs in this country happens via yellow motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. Nowadays, yeah.
So, by the way, the whole, my Chinese. Yeah, guess what? Like, you want to put us in a stagnant position permanently? Go ahead and get rid of the Chinese.
Well,
go ahead.
The issue with the Chinese is that, like, the CCP threatens to murder their families if they don't, like, steal secrets and smuggle them back to China. It's not really. It's not really an issue with the Chinese people being bad. It's the Chinese government does evil things to.
No. Okay, I need to correct you on this. It's elements. See, this is a statement I made, and a lot of people wanted to fucking fight me on this, but I fucking brought the receipts on this. The Chinese government, the CCP, is not a model.
Sure.
The faction that is led and ran by Xi Jinping, for example, is our friends. They're the ones that actually want to fucking do business. They actually want to fucking have a cooperative relationship with the United States. Then you have what I refer to as the triad faction within the CCP. Those are the antagonistic motherfuckers that are part of the financialist class in China that, you know, they own the businesses, they run the businesses, they have control over the businesses, and they are constantly committing corporate espionage in order to gain an edge against their competitors. Now, you can be a simpleton and be like, my CCP, or you can be like, yeah, the fucking triad is fucking sitting trying to gain as many edges over us as they can, and so they're just fucking trying to steal fucking everything that we fucking have. And by the way, fucking Apple leaving Foxconn, that was a huge blow to them.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Because the business commentary in China after Apple said that they were leaving Foxconn, yeah, they fucking lost their shit. Chinese government, no fucking comment whatsoever. Didn't have a single fucking thing to say about it. The triad motherfuckers, oh, they were bitching up a fucking storm.
All right, but the issue, as like assuming all that is true, the issue is still like there's not a checkbox on the Chinese people's passports that say which faction they belong to, right? So you have no idea.
But that's the thing, though. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, though, is that's where it comes down to understanding that we, you know, one, need to have stricter vetting protocols, and two, understanding that, you know, maybe one of the questions we should be asked, are you under duress?
Sure,
is your family under threat? Is that why you're coming here? Because here's the point. Because the majority of the motherfuckers that come over to the U.S. from China don't come directly from China. Where do they come from?
Korea?
No. Canada. There's a reason why we call Vancouver Hongkouver.
Right.
We get a lot of them that come through either Canada or Britain.
And here's the thing. I'm gonna spill some fucking tea for you, Dale, because you're Canadian.
Yeah.
You remember that whole scandal involving Chinese police stations in Canada?
Yeah.
Here's the problem. What were those police stations?
What were they?
They were the equivalent of an FBI foreign field office. They were investigators. And the majority of their operations, what has been learned so far, were targeting Chinese nationals engaged in illegal activities, i.e. the triad. They were after organized crime. Because the organized crime elements, notice this, everybody, let's just take a step back and actually fucking think this through. Let's do the little thought experiment. If you are under threat from your government because you're a member of an organized crime organization, or a crime organization, a syndicate, as we like to call them, if you're a member of a syndicate that's under threat from your government because they either, one, want to arrest you, or two, just fucking kill your ass, what do?
You flee?
You leave the country in question and operate outside of the country to do your business.
Right.
Examples: the Greek mob, the Albanian mob, the Italian mob, the Armenians, the Triad, the Yakuza. Do I need to keep fucking going?
No.
Oh, yeah, the gypsies. Got them around here so bad.
But the point is that these people do not operate within their own borders. They operate within their own borders through proxies. They exist outside of the borders of their home nations and operate in that fashion to be insulated away from their adversaries, i.e. their home government. And that's so just to round it up, the point is that just because we keep getting told the CCP is our fucking enemy doesn't mean that they're a monolith. It just means that there's elements of the CCP that are enemy, and the rest of the CCP is trying to fucking purge them.
Well, I mean, isn't that true of every government, like, ever? There were factions of the Soviet Union, too, right? There are factions of America, of American governments.
Well, but that's the point, though, is that you have to really start digging into it and understand, why are we supposed to hate these people? Why are we supposed to love these people? Why are we supposed to be indifferent towards these people? You start digging into it, and then you start realizing, like, oh, hey, shit, maybe I didn't have the full fucking picture, and that's why, now I feel like I'm questioning this. Because, again, like, for example, everybody's like, but the Europeans are our allies. No, they're fucking not. They've been trying to kill this country for the past 250 fucking years, motherfucker. They've been trying to smother the baby in the fucking cradle for fucking years. And yet we're supposed to just ignore that and be like, oh, yes, our friends.
Right.
Oh, we're supposed to hate the Russians because they're the inheritors of the Soviet Union. And yet not even... They don't even really think about us other than in terms of business. They just want to do business with us. They want to be left alone. Like, hell, you want to talk about a borderline isolationist country? Let's talk about Russia.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious to me that people are always saying Russia wants to conquer the world, and it's like, motherfucker, I don't know where the fuck you've been, but the last time I checked, the only place that Russians like to go is to the beach and fucking going and drinking. And hell, even at this point in time, they don't like drinking all that much. They just want to go to the beach.
Well, that and they've got this bizarre infatuation, borderline obsession with negative 50 Fahrenheit Siberia. That's 90 degrees in the sun.
Have you ever seen pictures of Omsk?
No.
Yeah, it's beautiful. No, I just meant the weather's horrific.
Yeah.
The land's incredible. Horrible.
The 2 or 3 months that it's thawed out, it's fucking amazing. But that's the point, though, is at the end of the fucking day, why are we supposed to hate these people? Why are we supposed to like these people? And the problem is that we haven't been doing that mental exercise for a few years. And now we need to start doing it because we need to realize, like, again, the Yukis are fucking touting, or not the Yukis, but the Europeans, my bad. The Europeans are touting around this fucking, this fucking poll that supposedly shows, 76% of Republicans support arming Ukraine. I know for a fact that's bullshit, because the last time they did that poll, it was around 50. 55, somewhere in that region.
Well,
I'm like, that number didn't grow.
Well, just on the poll, I would say it grew, but here's why. Because the wording of a poll can swing the poll by like 40 points. Right? So it's probably the same. It's probably the amount of the total people that most likely didn't change. It's just it was asked a different way, and because of that, people answered a different way. Right?
Maybe
this is a thing that's like been known about polling forever now. It's like they just phrased it in a way that would result in more people saying yes than the last one that resulted in less people saying yes.
Maybe. And again, the point is that at the end of the fucking day, it's like, no, we're not arming Ukraine anymore. We're not doing any of your stupid hinky bullshit. And oh, by the way, we're building a fucking tunnel from Russia to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
I really do hope that happens.
Yes.
Oh, bro, I want to be the first motherfucker to drive through it. I want to be the first motherfucker to drive through that thing. Like, I want to be able to say that the first foreign country that I visited was Russia, and I got to drive. I didn't have to take a plane. I didn't have to take a boat. I got to either ride on a train or ride in my own fucking personal vehicle. And yes,
Well,
I will ship this bitch from here to Alaska.
Yeah, to get from the continental 48, you have into Alaska, you got to go through Canada.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
So you're flying over it, you're driving through it, or you're riding the train around on it.
But no, the point is that at the end of the day,
Unless you take a ship.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then
no,
you
I'm
have
taking
to
a
go
ship.
up the left coast.
But no, the point is, well, I would take a ship because I'd be like, hey, I need to book myself, my family, and my car. Where are you going? I'm going to the tunnel, baby.
You know, you still have to deal with the left coast.
I'll get on the boat in Idaho.
You get on the what?
Oh, do you not know that?
No, I missed what you said. It broke up on my end.
I said I would get on the boat in Idaho.
Oh, the boat in Idaho. Gotcha.
Dale, if you're not aware, there is a port in Idaho that connects to the Pacific.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the size of ships that are able to do it is relatively small. I think they're a few hundred TEUs.
Yeah,
But-
it's part of why Greater Idaho will likely never happen.
Oh no, actually, I don't fucking count them down yet. Don't fucking count them down yet. There's some moves being made. There are some moves being made at both a state level and a federal level.
At a federal, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
No,
surprising.
the feds are definitely a little on the. We can redraw some of these borders.
Well, I would be very happy for that to happen because I don't like looking at a map and seeing Biden sniffing another state. That creeps me the hell out.
But anyways, the point is at the end of the fucking day, we're talking about a plethora of issues that, frankly speaking, nobody has all the fucking answers. Period in the story. Nobody does. But that's why we all have to have conversations in order to fucking understand what all the different issues are, and then all collectively actually come up with the solutions for those problems. The problem is that then you have motherfuckers like the Groypers and the commies and the fucking Democrats that want to interject and be like, oh, but this. No, fuck you. You don't get a say. You don't get a fucking opinion. Frankly speaking, we want to strip you of your citizenship and fucking throw you over to Europe. Fuck off.
There's more than a few of them, yeah.
Indeed.
Shit. It's hilarious to me that people believe that, it's like, oh, you're being uncompassionate, and where's your compassion? It's like, no, fuck you. I don't have any compassion for my fucking enemies. There is no mercy. There is no grace. Guess what, bitch? Line up on the wall.
Compassion only happens when you can afford to have it. We cannot
Exactly.
afford to have it right now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely not. It's like, no, fuck you. And the hilarious part is that that's really going to shine through when Alberta happens. When Danielle Smith finally gets off of her fucking ass and holds that fucking vote next year, which I swear to fucking God, if she doesn't do it, anyways,
Just think of all the natural resources we would have access to and the amount of money the people that are living up there will have as a result of it.
oh God, their fucking cash flow is going to explode. But that's the point, is that at the end of the fucking day,
It's going to be an Indian res with 10 casinos on it. And 10 square miles. And I can say that because I got the blood in me.
Nice.
But no, that's the thing, is that when Alberta goes to become a U.S. territory, all of a sudden it's going to create a ripple effect that all of a sudden the Dems, the Groypers, the fucking communists, all of them, they're going to shit bricks. Because all of a sudden the borders changed. And the borders changing is going to be the impetus for all of this coming down on them. You know, as I said earlier to fucking to Stoner and Poe, you know, it's a miracle that we're not like we're fully in a civil war right now, like it full bore. But
yeah,
the fact that
just not one that people are used to. People are expecting lots of gunfire. We don't have that right now.
But that's the point, is that the fact that we don't have the just abject slaughter that is associated with it is a fucking miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on the ARC timeline, motherfuckers. Like America, Russia, and China. Just wait until we help the Chinese get their shit in order. Because now, you know, we're on the precipice of solving the Russian issue and getting them on side completely. As soon as we can get the Chinese on side, oh my God. It's going to be fucking great. The Europeans are going to lose their shit, and then we're just going to all turn our guns at them simultaneously and be like, what'd you say, bitch? You talking shit? So, it's going to be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Go away. We don't want you here.
All right. As we are beginning to run out of time, you want to cover that last thing real quick?
Oh, yes, the libertarians. Libertarians and anarchists. The two greatest wastes of oxygen that has ever plagued our fucking existence. So I just want to say this to the libertarians and to the anarchists. If you cannot understand that cause and effect exist, your opinions are moot. Period. End of story. So earlier today, this individual by the name ANCAP Air, who is, you know, a notorious fucking anarchist that likes to post a bunch of stupid bullshit, likes to talk his shit as much as he can.
He's a notorious fucking neckbeard. That's what he is.
He posts a picture of a citation. And it was a traffic citation in which he was clocked doing 84 and a 70. Now, for those outside the United States, you might not understand why that's a big deal. Here in Ohio, or here in the U.S., we have a felony referred to as reckless driving. And reckless driving is gained if you are doing 15 or more over the speed limit. Now, I would have to venture a guess that Mr. ANCAP Air knows this, and thus he had his cruise control set to 84 so that he wasn't over that 15 threshold. And so he shows off the citation, whining, bitching, talking about how the road pirates, they dare try to steal his ship. Well, here's the thing, Mr. Anoko. 84 and a 70. You're already in a 70 mile an hour zone. You're already going pretty damn fast. depending on the level of traffic, that gives you very little time to react to the changes in traffic.
Let people drive nowadays, you don't have the time.
And given the average person is not me, for example, I maintain when I'm driving, I maintain about 3 to 4 car lengths worth of space between me and the guy in front of me.
That's how I was taught to drive more than 25 years ago.
Yeah, I maintain so much fucking space. You know, the standard is considered 2 car lengths. I maintain double that, bare fucking minimum. Because I'm just like, no, I'm not taking a fucking risk. I'm not fucking subjecting myself to the possibility of fucking getting hit from behind and then slamming into somebody else. You know, I'm just not fucking opening up that fucking door. But Mr. Anarcho over here is bitching and whining and crying. And it's like, I bet you dollars to fucking donuts you are like the average fucking person. You're crawling up people's asses. And you're doing bare minimum 70. Oh, wait, you were doing 84. Which leaves you even less time to react to shit. And thus, it's not a victimless crime. The victim is the people that you could potentially kill by hitting.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that if he got written up for 84 and a 70, that means he was probably doing closer to 90. And the cop was having a day where he just didn't want to fill out the paperwork.
I don't think that whatsoever, because he's in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Texas, they will fucking write your ass up on that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they will get you there.
So, no, he was going 84. But the fact that...
Then he is incredibly lucky that his cruise control is that accurate.
Oh, absolutely. Mine runs high by 2 miles an hour.
Like, you mean it goes 2 miles an hour faster than what you said, or 2 miles an hour? Or
yes. Yes. It has, especially on warm days when the engine's feeling good. Because, you know, of course, I live in Ohio. The engine's feeling good. It likes to go a little faster. But that's the point, is that he's bitching and whining and crying like a little fucking girl because he got a fucking warning. And it's like, yeah, motherfucker, I hope... Huh?
When he could have gotten a felony.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, oh, you want to bitch? Oh, I can give you something to bitch over. But the simple fact is like, okay, let me talk to the kid that lived 2 doors down who had his parents get slammed into the straight head-on collision by a fucking drunk driver that was doing over 90 in a 65.
Seen it.
Let me go talk to that kid. Oh, by the way, that was my neighbors. Mom and dad on vacation. Son had to stay home because he had a school event that was going to be taking up the entire week that they were gone. They had the vacation planned out, already paid for everything. School event came up afterwards. And so kid said, "Hey, I really want to do this. I'm going to stay and do this." And they were like, "Cool."
And they ate
literally on their way back home. Don't fucking bitch, you fucking scumbag. Because it could have been your ass fucking hitting them head on. Let's talk about the video that fucking Midwest Safety just put up of a family of 3.
Yeah.
Of a family of 3 getting hit head on by an illegal driving without a license who was already going 100 miles an hour when the cops initiated the pursuit. So don't even try to say the cops caused the pursuit. No. The motherfucker was already doing 100. The cops called off the pursuit within like a minute. And then this motherfucker hits that car head on. Kills both mom and dad. Thank God the fucking infant survived. This is how I know ANCAP Air is a fruitless, fucking subhuman piece of filth. Because he doesn't have anything to care about. He only cares about himself. He doesn't care about his fellow man. He's an individualist. He thinks he's the only thing that matters in this world. Well, guess what? Get on the fucking wall. I'll show you what real fucking power's like, motherfucker.
Why do I have a feeling he's got more than a little bit of a sovereign citizen bent in him? Or that he likes to play that.
But it was a victimless crime.
Ugh.
The victim is the people, you motherfucker. The people of these United States. Eat my ass. I wish the cop had just beaten his ass and fucking put him in cuffs. Anyways. Anarchos, I'm going to start treating you like narcos. Libertarians, same fucking deal. I'm just going to treat you like the subhuman fucking filth that you are. You want to fucking play this game? We can play this fucking game. Oh, guess what? The barrel of a gun, that's where real power fucking lies, motherfuckers. Since, by the way, they wanted the one little shitbag that wanted to make comments and shit. You wanted to call me a shit lib? Okay, fine. I'll quote the fucking commie. Anyways, we can leave it there.
Sounds about right. Any final thoughts from either of you?
Stop drinking Monster?
That's true. Also, I guess obligatory, don't drink and drive.
Well, yes.
And if you're blackpilling at this point in time, go take a walk off a short pier.
All right. And with that final tidbit of information, farewell, everyone. We shall see you next week.
Ciao.
See you later.